Let's study about feeding habits in animals. We have already seen what adaptation is and how movement happens in different animals, as well as which are the different respiratory organs present in animals. Now we have to see about the feeding habits in animals. Now, as we know that on the earth there are different types of animals and they eat different types of food. So, in order to eat different types of food, their body and mouth parts are suitable for the food they eat. It means to say that according to the food which they eat, their mouth and body parts will be accordingly adapted, or there will be structural changes in these parts. Now we have already studied in the chapter of good health that why food is essential. So we already know that food is required by all the living organisms to grow, to get energy and to stay healthy. So these are the different reasons that why living things need food. So now we are going to study a different kind of structural changes seen in different animals and accordingly how they are classified into different groups. In this slide you can see that there are different pictures of animals which mainly eat plant material. So you can see a picture of koala, deer, the giraffe and the gorilla, and you can see that they all are feeding on the leaves of different plants. So basically they are classified as herbivores. So herbivores are the animals which feed on plant material or which eat different types of plants or plant material. So basically when we are speaking about herbivores, the different structural changes that are seen are that they have very sharp teeth or incisors. As you can see in this slide, that the front teeth, that is the incisors, they are very sharp for cutting the plant. Now after cutting the plant, they have to chew it. So for chewing, they also have strong and broad molars. The example given here are goat, horse, but there are many more examples like sheep, camel, buffalo, cow, etc. This slide depicts images of cute animals. The first one is of a squirrel, the second is a rat, a baby rat, and the third one is rabbit. So the striking feature in case of these animals are their long, sharp front teeth, that is the incisors, and they are classified under the group of rodents. So as I mentioned earlier, the special character of rodents is that they possess a single pair of continuously growing incisors in each of the upper and lower jaw. So basically these teeth, they grow throughout their lives. So they keep on gnawing, that is nibbling the nuts and the fruits. Majority of the rodents are herbivores, but some of them might be omnivores. Here the examples given are rabbit, rat and squirrel. Well, there are many more. So these are the carnivores, the most dangerous animals, right? So you can see in this slide there are a lot many pictures pasted here of leopard, tiger, hyenas and all. So basically let's now study the characters of carnivores. Now if we speak about carnivores, carnivores are those animals which feed upon the flesh of other animals. Basically they are the animals which are the predators. They hunt upon other animals and feed upon them. So when we are talking about feeding on the flesh of other animals, they have very pointed and sharp canines to tear the flesh, as well as they have strong grinding teeth to chew the flesh and crush the bones. Here the examples are given are lion and tiger, but there are many more animals like wolf, leopard, hyena, polar bear, etc. Now we have learned something about carnivores, so the animals which feed upon the flesh of other animals. But there are even birds who feed upon the flesh of other animals. Examples given in this slide are a kite, eagle, etc. So these birds hunt upon some smaller animals and they feed upon the flesh of those animals. Now the structural changes or the adaptations which are to be seen in these kind of birds who hunt upon other animals and eat the flesh of those animals. So obviously two things we have to look for: their beak and their claws. So if you have seen the beak of the birds which hunt on other animals, so the beak are very strong and they are hooked so that they can hold that animal into their beak. As well as if you have seen the claws, they are very sharp, they can hold and tear that flesh with the help of those claws. So in this slide you can see beaks, like if you see the beaks of all the birds which are on this slide, they are somewhat hooked, and the claws also are very sharp so that they can help them to tear the flesh. And if you see the shape of the claws, it helps them to hold the prey very firmly. Now when we have seen carnivores, which were animals as well as birds, there are even some aquatic animals, that is the animals which live in water, which are fierce predators. The example discussed here is of a shark. So if you see in this slide an open mouth of a shark, you can see that they have very sharp and pointed teeth. So with the help of this teeth, the shark can tear upon the flesh of its prey. Now in this slide you can see pictures of a butterfly, a mosquito, a cicada. These all are insects basically. But what we have to focus on is again the feeding habit of these insects. So how do these insects feed? What is the mechanism or what is the part which is there through which they can feed? So in the case of these insects, they have a long feeding tube which is called proboscis and which helps them to suck liquid. So actually it works like a straw. So basically the mosquitoes, they have a long needle-like proboscis which they use to suck blood from the animals. The butterflies, they have a coiled proboscis with the help of which they suck juices from the flowers or the plants.